the director of the Canadian Opera Company and the Houston Grand Opera approached me because they were doing a co-production of this opera Salome. I wasn't raised with opera. It wasn't something that was in my orbit. And in fact, I was like a lot of people maybe nervous about it or scared about it. I didn't feel like I got it. But the more I listened to this particular opera, the more I realized it was so close to me dramatically in terms of all the themes in it. And I had a very strong connection, first of all, with the play by Oscar Wilde, because I come from theater. And so Oscar Wilde obviously was a huge name for me. But he wrote this play that's very difficult to kind of perform in a traditional way because it's very overwrought. And there's a lot of like a description and it's very stylized, but it makes for an amazing libretto. And so Richard Strauss saw a production of it in Germany and decided that he would create this revolutionary piece of music. It really was a piece of music that was unlike any other opera that had ever been performed before, presented before. So that was a really important experience for me. I did this opera production between EXOTICA and the Sweet Hereafter. I'll never forget when we were mounting it in Houston, I was getting VHS tapes because we were cutting EXOTICA, Sweet Hereafter at the same time, trying to get ready for Cannes. And I still don't know how we finished it in time, but somehow I was watching these VHS tapes in Houston during an ice storm, which was very unusual. And giving notes to the editor over the phone while I was in rehearsal for this opera. So all that period of time was very interconnected. So here's what happens is if you have a successful opera, it gets remounted. And this has been remounted many places over the years. But I found out that it was going to be remounted here in Toronto in 2023, 2 years ago, exactly 2 years ago from February. And at that point, I realized, okay, so this is, we're living in a very different world from 1996. And is this still going to be relevant? And I began to think of like other people who might be better choices to direct it. But I realized that the opera company doesn't have the budget to kind of create a new production. So I created this character of Janine, who's come back to remount this and comes back with a whole sort of agenda in a way. Like this didn't happen to me, but she had a relationship with the original director as a young student. And this person who directed it, the imaginary version of me, was very overpowering, maybe incredibly charismatic sort of person who had a very strong influence on her. So he has decided, he's passed away in the movie, that if it's ever remounted, Janine, his former protege student, would be the person to remount. So she comes into this project with a lot of history, not only in terms of her relationship to this character, Charles, who we never see, but also there's family issues. There's a whole power dynamic happening with the opera company itself, which is now run by the wife of the person she had the affair with. So I just thought of Amanda Seyfried, and we had this great experience doing Chloe, and I just thought I want to put her through this journey.